This is a three-part training series for stock machining on a customized tool room VPE. We'll begin with part 1, which is how to cost a part a priori. We start by opening a CAD file, then I'll show you how to use the viewer with the mouse action. We'll set some user preferences. We're going to generate an initial cost. We'll add some secondaries, which are cleaning, inspection, wire, grind, heat treat, and hard mill, and then we'll create a part cost report. We'll begin with part 1 by opening a CAD file. If you navigate to the file folder and then left mouse, it's going to take you to your file system where you can pick on a CAD file. We're going to grab this base plate part, once again left mouse to open the part. Once the part is open, you've got some windows here. If you hover over the edge of the window and then left mouse, you can drag these windows and make them bigger and smaller to suit your needs. If you look in the viewer, the first thing you do is you push the center mouse button and move it, the part will spin. If the center mouse button is a roller key, you can roll that and zoom in and out. If you hold down the shift button and then hit the center mouse key and move it around, you can pan the part. Next thing what we want to do is come over and answer some questions to initially get a cost on the part. So the first thing is process group. You have to determine whether you want to make this out of machine from billet, a casting, sheet metal. We're going to choose stock machining. We have a virtual production environment. What this is a digital factory. Out of the box, a priori has about 75 regions of the globe represented. What I've got is a slightly customized virtual production environment that represents a tool room. We've called that tool room China. That now gets set as your VPE. Down here we have optional process overrides. So if I want to come in and add additional things like surface treatments or heat treatments, I can come over and pick those. For example, if I want to degrease this part, maybe I want to add some other secondaries like an X-ray inspection, we can include those. Part of our configuration is to add the secondaries that are appropriate for your environment. So we've added those secondaries. We then have a library of materials. These materials can be configured to match your needs with the different stock forms, cost per pound, machinability of the materials. I'm going to choose a 4140 material. Then we've got to set an annual volume for how many years. The batch size is just the annual volume divided by 12. Once those are set, you hit the cost button. A priori will now cost this part. If we look in the bottom right, we know that it's extracting geometry down here, and then it'll run an appropriate routing. While we're waiting for that, I'll show you how to set some user preferences. So if I'm going to continually come in, again, I'm using the left mouse button for all this, I want to set my default production inputs so that everything I open will be stock machined. My VP will be set to tool room. I can set a default material and annual volume. If I was going to do all sheet metal today, I'd set it for sheet metal. So this will now have these defaults set for each part that I open. Down here on the bottom right, we're still costing. It'll be done in a few seconds. It's now finished costing. The first thing we want to look at is across the top you have several tabs. We're going to go to part summary. So we've costed this part. Here you can see we've got material, 3-axis mill, which was 98% of the cycle time, degrease, X-ray inspection. There's a fully burdened cost of $99.64. We've extracted a rough mass, finish mass, part envelope, lots of different things like that. So we've generated an initial cost. If we go to cost summary, we've got some more details here, and I'm just scrolling on the tabs. $59.76 for material, $99.64 for the fully burdened cost. What I'd like to do is add a few things. First is we want to wire these holes. So if I come over with the left mouse and pick over the area that I want, it's going to show me the artifacts that are underneath. I want to pick this parallel surface chain. It will highlight. I also want to pick this one. Again, I'm going to hold down the control key and then come over and pick the other parallel surface chain. So I've selected two artifacts. Then what I want to do is right click on that, and it's going to bring up a screen that says edit the operation. Here what we're going to do is pick that with the left mouse, come over here and right mouse on this and include the EDM wire cut. In addition to that, I want to right mouse again and pick process setup options. This will allow me to change certain things appropriate for a wire. In this case, I've got a rather large part. I want to choose a slightly larger wire diameter. Here I've got 0.15 millimeters. And then hit OK on that with the left mouse, and then OK down here. Nothing's happened yet because I haven't initialized or begin costing. Then what I want to do is add grinding to the faces. So once again, I'm going to left mouse, pick the top planar face, roll this thing around, hold down the control key, left mouse again, and then left mouse again and pick the other planar face. I now have two surfaces in the queue. I'm going to right click and hit edit tolerances this time. It's going to bring up my tolerance tab, and I'm going to change the tolerances on both of those surfaces. I'm going to give it an RA finish of 0.4, which is equivalent to a 16 finish. Then we're going to go ahead and hit OK on that. If I hit apply, it'll begin costing. And then the other thing I want to do is add hard milling. So once this thing's been machined, I want to heat treat it. Then I want to come back and hard mill a couple surfaces. So I'm going to come in and once again the same action, left mouse to pick the planar face, hold down the control key, left mouse, pick this planar face, come over, do the same over here, pick that one, and then pick this one. Rotate this around, hold down the control key, pick those planar faces. So now what I've done is with the left mouse key and the control key selected 6 planar faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planar faces for hard milling. I'm then going to edit the operation, so it's right mouse and then edit operation, and then if you look here, a window comes up and it's telling me that I have an option here to hard mill. I'm going to right click on that hard mill and then come over with the left mouse and hit include hard milling. So what I've done is added 3 things on here, and I'm going to recost. I've added the wire, I've added the grind, and I've added the hard mill. We're going to come over to part summary. If you'll notice here, here is my window where I have the routing options in there, and this is going to populate with those additional options, and you're going to see an increase in cost. So this thing's come back from costing, and what I've added now is the heat treat, the hard mill, the wire EDM, the grinder. Those have been added. My cost has now gone to $137. If I want to get a little more detail on where those exactly are, I can come over and hit wire EDM. It's going to show me the wire EDM surfaces. 3-axis hard mill, it'll highlight those for me. So what I've done is added a series of processes to this, generated a complete cost from here. That's what you need to do to get a cost on a part. And then I'd like to finish with creating a cost report. So we're going to do a spreadsheet report. Once again, it's left mouse on reports, spreadsheet report, and then I've got a bunch of different options here. I'm going to do a part cost report, hit OK on that, and then it'll go ahead and generate this report for me. And again, all the action with this is left mouse. Here's the cost report. I've got a picture of the part, rough mass, finished mass, material utilization, and then here's a breakdown of manufacturing times, each of the different processes, dollars per hour as far as rates, and then totals in here. These reports can be customized to suit your needs. So that is how to get an initial cost on a part.